Hello, everybody. Over on the other side of the pond, that's my friend Rish.
That's my buddy Roland.
And yeah, I want to be the first one to congratulate us. 12 years Glendeveron single malt whiskey. But the reason I'm congratulating us, we had our first Russian troll comment. Congratulations, Rish.
I didn't even know. I thought it would have been China first.
Well, let's just put it that way. You know how I'm always setting up these videos. Like in this video, Rish and Roland are talking about whatever, right? So
I'm looking for the comment.
You won't find it. You won't find it. It's in the recycling bin.
Wait, we deleted it?
I deleted it. Yes.
How? What did it say?
I'm about to get there. I'm about to get there. So first thing, yes, bullshit absolutely gets censored on this channel. We are not going to waste our time with bullshit. And the comment was bullshit because the comment tried to be funny. And literally the first line read, in this video, white supremacists Rish, and it went downhill from there. So, and I thought, well, first of all, immediately when I read this comment, literally the whole Russian troll and Chinese Wu Mao handbooks down there. And like I said, it went downhill from there. So it was probably one of those Russians that is on the way to Ukraine. So good luck, my friend, for your journey to and in Ukraine. I don't know if it's appropriate to wish our Ukrainian friends a better aim, but here we are. So no, I thought. Flag is the heaviest when you're over the target. So I think our video last week must have hit a nerve somewhere. So, and I thought, you do know I have a couple of American friends, so you're not the outlier here. And in general, those friends I have views and express their views very differently from the average American, what you would imagine the average redneck is about. So, and I thought this white supremacist view, while I'm having Scottish whiskey, living in Scotland, and drinking Polish lemonade here.
I thought I was the white supremacist.
Well, I'm apparently one as well.
Oh, we're both.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess we're both white.
Are you wearing a white shirt? So, yeah. No, I thought. I think this is the ideal starter.
You are gonna send me the comment, right? Like you gotta text it to me or something. If I can
find it, I will definitely send you. I will copy and paste the bullshit. It's.
But really, it was our first comment. And we talked about this in the introduction to the channel. I said we're gonna get so much hate, but we finally got some, and you deleted it.
Yeah, I'm terribly sorry that I was so how to say. Yeah, but I thought this is the ideal starter for hearing your white supremacists privileged comments on immigration, which I reckon will be very different from what average American is going to say.
Episode is on immigration.
Yeah, careful. I mean, you can go either way now. You can be the first white supremacist that has a reasonable opinion, or you can go full redneck. I don't think anyone at this moment expects anything.
all 5 people that are currently watching our channel were not that popular yet. And I was going to kick it off talking about African immigration, North African immigration into Southern Europe. Perfect starter. Just perfect.
You know, kickstart. You can kickstart it like that, and that is again the thing. You know, I was expecting you to talk about the Texas-Mexico border, but here we go.
No, actually, I was gonna talk about so Italy, and this has been it's been over a year, but Italy finally just put their foot down and they told the EU, like, look, guys, we can't be the only ones. You get mad at us for using our navy to turn ships back to Africa, but none of you guys want to take in any of the migrants. And then, so I'm from Florida. My governor is Ron DeSantis. He's a well-known political figure. And then Martha's Vineyard is a very upscale neighborhood, a lot of money up there, and it's not in Florida for people who don't know. It's up in the Northeast. So the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, got together and they chartered a plane of migrants from Texas up to Martha's Vineyard because they said that they supported immigration. And then everybody in Martha's Vineyard lost their shit, and a bunch of lawyers from Boston sued the governor of Florida for bringing migrants to a place that said that they supported immigration. So, oh God, just bring on the comments. Just fuck it.
Well, it is. Well, I did want to bring this up because the situation in Italy is not new. It has been going on for years, if not decades. Yeah. And similar situation in Greece. And at some point, those governments said, well, like you said, we can't do this alone. Yeah. And in 2015, the German government, yes, our mommy Merkel and her cabinet, they basically decided we're going to shut our borders. We're not going to let anyone in. And we're going to do that at the EU borders. So cue the question, well, who is going in front of the cameras and says that? Because borders and closing borders means fuck all if you don't put people on the border and start turning people back, right? So, and there was the typical rush when somebody's looking for volunteers. Nobody wanted to do it. And what happened in the end was Merkel's "Everybody is Welcome" speech. And I personally know someone who went to the Munich station when the train started rolling in and applauding for everybody arriving. And I asked him a very simple question. Well, how many did you take with you? And he was totally baffled. Yeah. 0. And the remainder of this discussion was, oh, I only have a small 2-bedroom flat. Well, I said, well, why do you need 2 bedrooms? That is 40 people that could sleep there in shifts. So we take one room, we take one of these rooms, put 20 of these people in there. I mean, they are all from Syria, of course. And you're going to make do with that. Well, I don't want that. So after a long discussion, he doesn't want that. And I said, well, you cannot welcome these people and then say you're not going to house them, feed them, clothe them. What are you going to do with these people? They're here. So, yeah.
He's going to clap. Then he's going to go back to his very comfortable situation.
Yeah, it's the same people as you said in Martha's Vineyard. Yes, I want these people to come here, but not in my neighborhood. I don't want their children to go to school with my children. Yeah. It's, and you can't have both. And people are very good at not wanting to deal with the consequences of their actions. So
Well,
here's
and
to
they
that.
also say, like let's bring people in to work, and it's fine when they're doing jobs, like picking fields, things that are very hard, very intense labor. But then when they receive a Western education, a better education, and they start being able to compete for your job, and now it's whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. It's not so much, look, it is not so much for somebody else's job, but for my job personally. That's the attitude we are looking at. And
Mm-hmm.
I in preparing for this episode, for this discussion, I know most of my American friends or the American people I speak to is about illegal immigration and so on. And I looked at the figures. Well, first of all, before I give you the figures, first of all, what is the problem with illegal immigration? Fuck all. Because these people, anyone who is here in the UK or in the US illegally, they are not going to cause trouble. They're going to keep a very low profile so that they don't get sent back. So, and about the thing, yeah, these people, the illegals, are costing me taxpayers money. Okay, let's go with that. Here in the UK, we estimate one of the higher estimates is we have about 650,000 illegal immigrants at any given time here in the UK.
Those are
And
rookie numbers. Those are
no,
rookie numbers.
those are actually across the board quite good numbers. And percentage-wise,
No,
it's about 1%.
our numbers are
It's
so
about
much higher.
1%. I wouldn't believe it. But let's just flow with the number for a moment. So 1% of people in the UK at any given time is illegally here. Okay? And let's just assume we are indeed responsible for the social care for these people. Now, I looked up the figures. The figures are accurate. We have 32.7 million people working and paying contributions to social insurance and like healthcare and so on. Yeah. So essentially, at any given time, 32.7 million are paying for 65 million. So it means I pay for myself and for another person. Yeah, probably the person I'm married to. So I'm also paying for my children, and illegal migrants that are not working are 1%. And I'm asking myself, let's say I'm paying $100 a month for that, or let's say $100 per week. I pay $100 or 1% more, $101. Why? Talking to you about it is more expensive than that. So financially, it is absolutely irrelevant at that level. Now, the question, what kind of job do migrants do? And you mentioned one of them. And here in the UK, we have a massive problem because these kind of migrants no longer want to come. I mean, it sort of happens when you tell people to fuck off and that they are that they are subhuman. So they say, you know what, fuck you. I'm going to pick fruit. I'm going to do
It's not
harvesting
worth it.
somewhere else. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not worth
exactly.
it.
And now we have food producers in the UK saying so much food that we plant every year is going to the landfill. It's rotting away. We can't harvest it. We don't have the people. We start to grow less food. In a situation where food prices are going up, we should be growing more food, but we can't harvest it. So the first level of jobs that immigration is supposed to fill, or supposedly fills around the world, is migrant or peasant workforce that is doing very low qualification jobs. Yeah. Always has, always will. And surprisingly, it's also the kind of job that British people don't want to do. So in and around the Brexit referendum, where people said we want these people to go, they are stealing our jobs. Well, now those jobs are open. Why are they not being filled?
But it's
And the
not
other
just the
kind of
British,
bill,
it's also the
yeah,
Americans. It's also
it's around the
there's
world.
Saudis. Saudis have jobs that they're not willing to do.
Yep.
And in the class system in India, there's certain people who just no, that's not a part of my class. I will not fill that position.
Now there's many reasons, but
Speaking
there's
of
a
filling
labor shortage.
positions, um, your prime minister, 44 days or 45?
Yeah. Well, the debate is open about that, but either way, it's the shortest lived prime minister, and the guy, the guy who has the second shortest tenure as prime minister actually died in office.
So
I
it
mean,
wasn't his fault.
no. And when this whole thing started, when people, even the press or the part of the press that supports her party, started to wisen up about how damaging this person and this kind of politics is. They put a picture of her and a letters next to each other, asking the question, which will last longer? 2 or 3 days later, the letters was still there. So it's a sad state of affairs. But when you,
So if
it's another
Boris
story.
Johnson comes back, what do you think that means for UK immigration? Because he is a leading candidate to come back.
Right. About Boris, and I will be blunt, he is not much smarter than Liz Truss. And they are equally lazy. But Boris is a kind of person, he's the kind of person at the party. He's the centerpiece of the party, but you don't want him in your house. Yeah. So Boris has absolutely no clue what the fuck he's doing. Neither did Liz Truss. And unfortunately, Brexit has proven to be the ideological post that is splitting the Conservative Party. And spoiler alert, I grew up in a German Labour voting family. Yeah. So I am traditionally a Labour supporter. Problem with German and British Labour is they have undermined and essentially eliminated their traditional voter base. Both, well, Tony Blair started this. Gordon Brown was a much worse communicator. David Cameron took over, and Cameron was also not the most industrious person, but he kept it to much more reasonable levels. And the key thing is that our extreme right-wingers, including the total nut jobs, realize they're not going to get elected into parliament. They will never have a political say. So they, or a lot of them, joined the Conservative Party. And that influx of members was threatening to basically split the party into a more moderate centrist conservatism, which I have absolutely no problem with, and a much more right-wing, ideologically colored, in a certain color, conservative, or let's call it what it is. It is a right-wing government. So, and people have used this Brexit vote to essentially go to a situation, and it's what my British friends don't believe. My British friends say, "Oh, if all fails, we can always go back to the EU, can join the single market." And I say, "Fuck all you can. We're not going to take you." So people are, and I'm using my, I'm not gonna put it behind nice words anymore. I said to people, "You're so fucking dumb. You think you go out, you can do whatever you want." No. And you will realize that when the first person says no, and when you still try to put your hand in the cookie jar, they're gonna slap you. So right now we are in a situation, why would, regardless of the prime minister, why would the EU even discuss letting the UK back into the single market, which would solve almost all of our economic problems, or at least make them a lot less impacting or a lot less worse than what it is right now.
It wouldn't take 5 hours to get into France.
Well, first of all, not going to happen. You see, the point I'm trying to make is, even in a sensible negotiation, which this won't be, yeah, the EU is
No,
going
I
to
was
ask,
talking about the traffic jams in the tubes. Like, that would solve one problem for a lot of people.
well, that's another thing I'm gonna have a little rant about in a moment. But the thing is, the EU is going to ask, well, what are we getting? Are we going to have seamless traffic for goods? Yeah. The EU has that right now because the British don't have the people and don't have the systems to check any inbound goods. And it's also not in our interest. If we really start checking every food parcel that's coming in, every food shipment that comes in, we're going to run out of food. It is that simple. And for all my right-wing British viewers, we don't have the people to grow it or harvest it. We don't have the room to grow it. Grow up. So this island hasn't been able to feed itself since the 1700s. That's a fact. And the argument about, well, then the EU will dictate the rules of the market. That's always what happens. The buyer always dictates the rules of the market. So if you want to sell into the EU market, the EU is going to tell you this is how it works. If you want to sell into the American market, the Americans are going to tell you this is how it works. And the same thing with our British market here. If somebody wants to trade with the United Kingdom, the British government is telling them this is how it works. And like I said, please grow up, people. This is how the world works. You can't go out and do whatever you want without consequences. So, but going back to immigration, as I'm trying to get the curve here. The other jobs that immigrants are filling is very high level jobs where there is a worldwide skill shortage. And the average person in any country doesn't compete with that level of job and doesn't want the other level of job. It becomes problematic when, exactly like you said, these people are getting education. They are getting smarter, more industrious, and they are competing with the mid-level jobs. So the solution for that is to forward our economy into the next step, meaning that the mid-level jobs need more skills than what the average mid-level immigrant would have. The problem with that is we have undermined our educational systems. People are not pursuing education. And look at it from this point of view. I'm an organization. Do I really care where you are from if I want to hire you? No. I want to get a bloody job done. And I want the best person for the least money. And if that is you, I'm going to hire you. And if that person lives just next door in the same country, I'm going to hire that person.
Well, seeing a big problem in America is we've outsourced all of our mid-level jobs. We've outsourced all of our manufacturing. So when new people come in, you're competing for jobs that don't exist anymore. And everyone who had those jobs has transitioned to a different mid-level job. And now there's an influx of people, but there's not the same jobs available. Everyone, the market for non-manufacturing jobs got flooded by people who transitioned from factory work to a different form of employment. So those jobs just aren't here anymore.
Well, the thing is always, economies always continue to evolve. I mean, when automobiles were becoming more and more popular, obviously a lot of people that were working in other industries or that were dependent on other industries were not very happy that the automobile makes certain things easier. or look at the average office setup in, say, 1920 or even 1850, 1920, and 2020. Let's say there's 100 people in 1850 working with a lot of paper, with a lot of people that are carrying paper from one person to another. In the 1920s, we are starting to have telephones to make that easier. And in 2020, you will possibly have one person with one computer doing the same thing. So this has always been a trend. And there's people, intelligent people that say, we would need about 500,000 people on this planet to work to get all the shit done that needs to be done. The problem is nobody wants to be that among that 500,000. So
Right.
Here we are. So, no, my point is, as an organization, I don't care where you're from. I mean, the product or the service doesn't care either where you're from. Yeah. So what we need to do as a society, we need to have a solution to that question. Well, what do we do with all these people? Yeah, people need a purpose in life, whether that is work or something else. That's not the question. But for the last 100 years, we have not been able to find a solution and, as you're saying, increase the competition for fewer and fewer jobs. So there are certainly solutions to that, but yeah, it is what it is. And I know full well if somebody else could do the same job as I can do, or compete for the same job that I have right now, and would do it for less money, the market for that job would start to shrink and pay less money. So the good thing is more and more organizations in the industry that I work in realize, oh, we need that kind of job. Yeah. And the way I interpret that job has been quite successful with the clients. And let's put it that way. If you stay competitive in your particular area, then why are you worried about someone who has even the similar education as you going to replace you? Because what they don't have is the experience on the actual job, the life and work experience that you have accumulated. And yeah, how do I say that? The productivity is simply very, very different. American workers are the most productive in the world. And when you look at the cost productivity benefit equations, why are so many American companies shifting their supply chain out of China? And it has been going on long before the current situation. The Europeans are now waking up to the situation as it is right now. And the Americans are like, thank God, we dodged the bullet. Yeah. So even Apple, who is notoriously slow on this matter, is now faced with the situation. Even if they wanted to, they can't produce the new iPhone in China. Period. Not possible. Number one, they can't get the chips they need. Number two, the workers have moved on. The European Chamber of Commerce released a survey a couple of weeks ago, and they said in April a record low number of expatriates worked in European companies, 120,000 all across China. That figure in August was 60,000. So half of the record low number in April has already left. The figures for the US or for other countries are the same. The supply chain is shifting out of China for more than just one reason. Then what I see a lot of Chinese talent is also leaving. So it is incredibly difficult right now to get out of the country. But if you're really determined, people are doing it. And this is what we Germans called voting with our feet. No worries. I mean, voting with the feet was the phenomenon that well-educated workers from Eastern
What does that
Germany.
mean? I've never heard that
Voting
before.
with your
That's not a
feet
saying.
means that people that have certain skills are fleeing one country, going to another. So in German context, this was well-educated and well-trained Eastern German workers. Didn't see any future in Eastern Germany. So what did they do? They fled to Western Germany and started a new life. So voting with your feet deprives a country of its talent, of its brains. Right now in Russia, anyone who is not already out of the country and is male in our age is at some point going to be sent to Ukraine. So
So
the
essentially, the
situation.
people migrate. The people who have the best potential for thought process, for tax base, high earning, innovation, these people just left.
Yeah. I mean, if you got the brains and the skills, the questions you're gonna, I mean, every person on this planet is asking themselves, how can I have the best life for myself and my family, right? So let's just
That's
say the
basically the
market
American dream.
on a global
That's
scale, my
what we
friend.
call it. Yeah.
So let's just say let's make this if an American organization was offering me twice the money that I'm getting now for the same job that I'm doing, with the same kind of flexibility that I have, with the same kind of work environment, I'm going to think about it. And if a British company says, "Hey, Rish, well, we got this project, someone with your skills, and we're paying you twice the salary that you're getting now," you're not going to think twice. Yeah, you're going to seriously consider that kind of job. So
Then the plane tickets. I want one of those fancy cabins that you can sleep in.
yeah, Emirates first class suite with shower.
I heard you can actually take a 5 minute hot shower per
Yeah,
cabin, which is insane.
absolutely fucking in. I mean, I have seen that cabin. I have seen those cabins. They are absolutely insane. I
I have
mean
only
the
seen them on TV shows. I've
yeah, me
never
too.
seen
Me
one in
too.
person.
I'm not that rich. I'm not that rich. I'm not.
No, they
I'm not
said
bunky.
12,000 US for one way.
Yeah, around about that. I mean, I am so posh. I did fly I did fly business class twice. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I mean, it was look. I am almost 190, and I am not the slimmest person in the world. So I do need space. And literally, the even premium economy, the seats are not much wider, and the kind of audience you have around you, it is a lot better in business class. The food is also better, and you get access to the lounge where the food is free. So,
190. That's so cute. I'm 6'3", 225.
yeah, I'm round about the same. So I think I'm six. I think I'm 6'2", 6'3", and yeah, a little bit heavier than those 225.
Like, this is not something I can do on a plane. I would be touching four other passengers.
Well, it depends on, maybe they like it.
No, they
I
don't.
don't think
No,
Hollywood like
I
it,
try
but
to I use since my credit card, it's I'm not going to say which brand because they don't pay us, but it has a lot of upgrades, including lounges and, free upgrades for planes. So because of that, I pull that thing out whenever I want.
Yeah. No, it is, no, this is how people operate. Yeah, they try to optimize their own, yeah, being on this planet. And like I said, if another place has something better to offer, then why not? But at the same
And
time,
and that's why we have immigration.
exactly. And you see the hypocrisy of people like, or people around us. We both have worked with all kinds of nationalities. I have worked abroad, and really, it is a thing. I can't. Or how do I say that? If I want to make use of that situation, I can't reasonably demand nobody else has that chance. It's not working. Would be
Well, and see, I
unreasonable.
can't say anything because, like, I've worked in Canada. When I worked in Canada, there was other Americans. Of course, there was Canadians, there was Malaysians, there was Pakistanis, there were Brits. Like, I left my own country for work before. And I would never fault someone else if you have an opportunity and you're doing it
Go for it.
legally. Yeah. And now I did have to pay taxes. So if you go somewhere else and work, you're gonna have to pay taxes.
This is another thing that I'm saying. In England, I don't get a vote. Here in Scotland, I get a vote. I'm paying taxes just like every other British person. Why do they get the vote? Why don't I get the vote? I mean, as an American, you definitely have an opinion about taxation without representation, right?
Oh yeah, we'll go to war over that. And a slight tax on bread or baked goods.
I mean, it's certainly not everybody's
Fuck
cup
you
of
and your
tea.
navy.
Yeah, I've run out of alcohol, and yeah, no.
I guess we're at
What
a good
I'm
place to leave it.
yeah, I mean, just to finish my rant is any economy that has restricted immigration, has restricted their access to talent and to skills that you need to keep your economy running. We have seen it in Brexit. A lot of people are just simply not bothering. And let's just imagine you are European, and you're going to go through a visa process to the US where you earn $100,000, or to the UK where you earn $50,000. Which one are you going through? It's out of the question.
Easy.
So easy. So the thing is, it is an addition to the skill space that you have as an economy. And any kind of economy that does not make use of these skills, and that's another thing that's going to come up, and a good transition to our next video next week about yeah, once again about China. Maybe we can get some Wu Maos this time. So really looking forward to those. I mean, I keep asking them, oh, how are the lockdowns? So now it's when you see how fast talent can run away. I mean, 50% of an already record low escaping because they really don't want to be in your country. Then
it's pretty bad.
Well, one of the reasons why the supply chain is in China is completely collapsing right now is not only the continuous rolling lockdowns they are in, it's also they start to run out of people that know stuff. And a lot of people that I have seen, the rationale of people. There was a protest just before the National Congress. Somebody hanging a transparent on a popular bridge, basically asking for the current leader to be removed from power, and that people are tired of these lockdowns, food shortages, and so on. People have realized the situation they live in is just about as bad as what will happen to them if they actually protest against the government. And that is a situation that when people realize it can't get any worse, then you have a very bad situation.
No, I just had to look it up. I couldn't remember the name of the movie, but there's a movie called District 9. It's a South African movie, but basically an alien spaceship had parked over Johannesburg, but all the people who knew how to run the spaceship were dead, and all that was left was the lower class, the peasantry, and they had no idea how to use their own technology. So if everyone who knows how to build the bridges, if everyone who knows how to make the computers, if everyone leaves, and you only have the people that know how to, clean the sewers, pick the fruit, these jobs that are important. They are important jobs. They need to be done for society to work, but they lose all the support structure above them because it's been outsourced, or it's been, headhunted by nations seeking to give them a better chance in life.
I want to close.
And you have
with,
District 9.
Yeah. I want to close with something in Roman history over 2,000 years ago. Is when the situation for the normal peasantry was very, very bad. And the peasantry realized that we will never be as rich as the upper class. We will never have access to resources as the upper class. But we are the ones that are doing the essential jobs. So how about we just don't do it and just walk out of Rome for a day? And it literally took them a day to make everybody else realize society only works if we all work towards a general consensus that no one is left behind. When that kind of agreement is broken, or when a significant portion of the population feels this agreement is broken, it no longer exists, you will start to see cracks at the end.
It's the social contract.
Yep. Social. If the social contract is psychologically undermined, or if somebody feels it is, if we can't form a new societal consensus, we are in trouble. I mean, anarchy hasn't worked, communism hasn't worked. What's left? Yeah. So
feudalism was rather shit.
It depends on, you see, all these systems depend on what kind of level you are. So I don't think an absolute dictatorship has any problem if you are the absolute dictator. Yeah. You are a bit prone to assassination.
And feudalism's great if you're a lord.
Absolutely. But it is.
You talk about Rome. I bet you Caligula thought that he was living the best life he could. So
Absolutely.
did Nero.
But look at it from this point of view. For the vast swath of population on this planet, life was shit before even after the First World War. What we have is such an incredible development since, yeah, I would say late 19th century. Such an incredible development that right now, and that goes back to that comment that we had, people are so privileged that they can accuse others of being white supremacists. But what they don't realize, it was the white supremacists before them that set up the systems that they have in place now, so they can sit on their ass and complain about white supremacy. And I want to end this really, instead of complaining, get your ass out and do something. Really. Doesn't matter.
Stop being
where
a
you
keyboard gangster. It's easy to talk
That's
shit
stupidly.
when you can't get hit.
I mean, it is absolutely inconceivable what some people, how some people think they're gonna go through life. Yeah, but grandeur and popular delusions next week about current developments in China and the world. And by then we should have the outcome of the National Congress, where unfortunately things are not going as positive as I would have thought they would. But that's life, and for another time, my dear friend on the other side of the pond. I greet you, Rish.
I'll keep my comments about our midterm elections to myself for now.
That is
I'm
Rish.
Rish. He's rolling.
And we're going to see you all next week.